shit.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Hillary, and this is Sunday Morning Live with John M. And here is our host, John M.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome again. It is, in fact, Sunday morning. It is Labor Day weekend. Tomorrow is Labor Day. So I hope you're all have gotten off to a good start with it, and I hope you're enjoying it. It's a little cloudy here in the San Fernando Valley today, but that's not bothering any of us. And we're back here on our usual home turf for Sunday Morning Live. And I have my very special guest, whom I will introduce you to in just a moment, is JC Hyke. And he's going to be joining us in just a second. And we'll get into more of that in a second. But right now, as I always do, I'm going to start things off with a song. This is one of my older ones. It's about a word that I think is often overused. Forever. They say forever is a long, long time, yeah, a high hill to climb. It's a well-known fact, you never come back from forever. You can't try it out for a while, you can't take it on trial. So you better be sure before you say you're forever. Nothing would please me more, forever with you. Oh, forever has always been, no beginning and no end. And no one will ever know when they get to forever. You can't measure it by the day or by any other way. Some say when love is real, you're in love forever. I say I'll be in love forever with you. Forever can never be undone, never, not even by the bond. Whenever everything else is gone, forever will still be going on. Yeah. It gets closer every year, but forever is never here. Am I making it clear? It's the final frontier, forever. It's beyond space and time. It's not yours and it's not mine. Ah, but you and I could watch it go by together. My, how the time would fly forever with you. Oh, oh. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, what mistake? What? I didn't hear anything. Beautiful. Thank you very much. That was Forever, and that sound of two hands clapping that you just heard was none other than JC Hyke. JC and I have known each other for a few years now, and JC is, among other things, the host of a weekly songwriter show in Arcadia, the Songwriters Serenade. And I am proud and honored to have been a guest numerous times.
Yes. On
your show, and even guest hosted it once or twice. Yes, dear?
Yes. Say good morning to David Plen and also TJ Sullivan.
Good morning,
hey,
fellas.
TJ.
How are you? Thanks for tuning in.
Good to see you.
Good to not see you.
So you are, of course, in addition to hosting the show, you are yourself a singer-songwriter.
Yes.
And
yes, I am also an artist. Some people forget that, but it's actually true.
As in with paintbrushes and stuff?
No, I write songs and sing them.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't forget that. And in fact, you are more solidly, more clearly defined, I think, in the country genre than a lot of the guests I've had on here, which is neither a good nor a bad thing.
That's
a
where I
cool
like
thing.
to live, folks.
And you do it very well. It's, you do it very well. I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you.
You have the perfect voice for it, I think, as people will hear in a moment. And how long have you been actually? Well, in the first place, has it always been country music for you? Because I've known some people that came out of rock and roll and then they kind of.
Well, my older brothers growing up, all they listened to was rock. That was it. It was all that was in the household, really, except for when we'd watch the country award shows. So me and my mom would sit in the kitchen at the kitchen table, and we watched these award shows, you know, back in the 70s with the ladies with their hair that went up, you know, to the ceiling. And so we'd watch those shows, but other than that, it was mainly just rock and roll in the house. But country would creep in through pop music, like with John Denver, Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton, Willie Nelson. Those artists crossed over, but that's who I gravitated towards. And then the bands that I liked were the Eagles, or were my favorite band, and still are, of all time. Creedence.
And they're one of those crossover. The Eagles and Creedence both kind of country rock.
Yeah,
crossover,
they're country rock. So that's kind of where I landed as far as, you know, through the rock and pop. I found the country artists.
And was the appeal of country music more in the music or the lyrics, or because I've heard a lot of people say, well, you know, if only rock music had the storylines and the lyrics that country music had.
Yeah.
So is that what appealed to you, or do you actually like the?
I just like the
more
sound
melodic,
of it. I just love the sound of it. I love all the country licks. I love the melody lines, the chord structure, the harmonies. I also love bluegrass a lot. So all of that seeped into my soul. And when my buddy Ray taught me how to play the guitar, and he was a songwriter, Ray De La Paz, he said, okay, well, now you know 3 chords, you go home and you write a song. Nice. And he made it look easy, so I said, okay. And I went home and I wrote a song. I just, you know, I had watched him write songs before, and I came back and I played it for him. And he started laughing. He says, that's a country song, man. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, yeah, that's country all the way. I'm all, well, no, it's not. I didn't know. I didn't intend it for it to be country. It just came out that way.
Yeah.
And it's come out that way ever since.
Well, I've written both, you know, some country and some rock songs, and it's the same thing with me. I've never sat down and said, today I will write a country song, or a rock song. They just come out like they do. Can you? I know you have other songs that you're planning on playing, but can you give us a little piece of that one? Do you still?
Oh no, I have no idea how it goes now.
Okay.
I was 20
when
I learned how to play guitar and started writing.
Yeah.
Couldn't help you there.
Okay, no problem. I have some of those as well. So, well, very cool. And you mentioned you said there was in your family growing up, it was all like rock. How big a family was it?
I had 2 older brothers. My brother Kevin has passed away, but he was 7 years older, and my brother Dan, he's 11 years older. So they were into the 60s music, really, and Beatles were blasting in the house, and all the current rock stuff at the time. So I listened to that too, just because they listened to it. But
anybody else in your family into performing or any of the arts?
Yes. Both my mom and my dad were into the arts. My mom was a ballet dancer. My dad was an actor, and my dad worked in all kinds of films. In the late 40s, he got back from World War II. And he had flown. Well, first of all, he had a degree in theater, so he'd been at it, and then went into the armed forces. He was in the Air Force, which was part of the Navy at the time, and he loved acting. Wanted to get into it as soon as he got back to the States after the war was over, and he had got the opportunity to fly John Ford around, the famous director. And of course, you get to know somebody in a cockpit for hours, and John Ford told him, he said, hey, as soon as you get back to the States, the war's over, you look me up. And he did. He put him in all kinds of films.
Wow.
She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, Fort Apache, Red River. Yeah. My dad was in all those. He had small parts, of course, but he was in them. He was a working actor, and he
That's
did that.
Great.
Did that until my oldest brother was born, and then he said, nope, time to get a full-time job.
Wow.
And then my mom danced in a lot of the big MGM musicals. She was in American in Paris and Singing in the Rain. So she danced. She was one of the main chorus girls at MGM during its heyday, which is really cool.
Well, I'm glad I asked you that, because I know that you've done a little acting too, and we can talk about that in a minute. But first, why don't we let you do what you love to do, and what you do best? Why don't you hit us with a song?
Okay, here we go. This is Tell Me Why. I put my shoes on the wrong feet. Couldn't find the glasses on my head. Into the mailbox, I accidentally dropped my keys. I'm losing my mind over why there were no obvious signs. You left without saying goodbye. I'm dying inside to know why you don't love me anymore. Tell me why. My nose reminds me of burning dinner. House plants are bowing for a drink. I've lost all interest in my favorite things, and I don't sleep. I'm lying there wondering why there were no obvious signs. You left without saying goodbye, and I'm dying inside to know why you don't love me anymore. Tell me why. And if I hired Sherlock Holmes, could he tell me what went wrong? Would it ease the pain at all? Tell me why. Tell me why. Tell me why.
So how new is that? I don't think I've heard that one before.
Oh,
Is it-
that's not new. It's 7, 8 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's. I wrote it for a woman to sing because
Uh-huh.
it really needs a big belting, Martina McBride type
Yeah,
song.
yeah.
And they help me. Music helps me deal with life.
I'll bet you 80 to 90% of the people watching this agree with that.
Yeah.
I know I do.
Yeah.
I have seen therapists, but can you tell? but I definitely music. The guitar and music provide a release.
Yeah.
For emotions and stuff. And
Let it
and,
out. Just let it out.
I remember when I was just starting, when I was in prep school, I played a song that I had just written for this girl I was starting to see, and this was like a whole. I mean, I'd only been playing maybe a year, and I wasn't performing that much, and I just played this little song, and she just called me right out. She said, I know what you do. And I said, what are you talking about? And she said, you take these deep, intense, personal things, these feelings and this pain and these emotions and things that you go through, and you wrap them up in these little songs, and you put a nice little bow on it, and you put it out there, and you think people will just think, oh, that's a pretty song. And it is a pretty song, but there's a lot of you deep inside there, and you've been through a lot. And I'm like, oh crap! What, you know,
Calling you out, John.
My cover's blown. You know? I'm not. What do I do now? You know,
Yeah,
I don't
that
want
is.
people to see all that. And
Yeah.
But then I decided later that maybe it is okay if they see some of it. Again, you still have to package it the right way. But
Yeah.
you know,
I think they identify with you more if you let out what's really in there, because then they're getting to know, you know, a person who's been through things, and they're writing along with you and what you've been through and what you're presenting to the world of your music.
yeah. And yet, it's still. I'm sure you will agree. It still has to, on some level, it still has to be entertaining.
Oh yeah, well, it's
you,
got to be good.
you know,
Yeah.
you don't want to just sit there and go, you know, strum, 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 you bitch, I can't stand what you did to me, you know.
That's a great title. I'm using that.
But so it still has to have some musical appeal. But
Yeah.
It's an interesting challenge. And then of course condensing it all into, you know, you take a story that happened over the course of 6 months and you put it into a 2.5 minute song.
Yeah, editing. Editing is the probably the greatest challenge of a songwriter. Is you got all these ideas for the song, and then you got to snip, 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 cut, 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 and condense it down to what works.
Yeah.
With no throwaway lines, with no you know, filler stuff, all the meat, but it still tells the story, and that you have to cut out probably 70 to 80% of your ideas for the song. Trim it down and make the actual song work.
I learned a lot from a friend of mine in Nashville, and you and I have both spent time in Nashville.
Yes, we have.
That's part of your history, and we both kind of honed our songwriting skills there and played a lot of the same venues and stuff. And there was a guy I knew in Nashville who used to do some work on the side critiquing and coaching songwriters. And people would bring him these songs with these lyric sheets, and he said the first thing I would always do is I'd take a big red marker and I'd say, well, you don't need this line, and you don't need this, and you don't need this, and you don't need this, and he just cut it to shreds. And he said, but I never cut out anything that took anything away from the substance of you know, the story or whatever. I just took out what I thought were unnecessary lines.
Yeah.
And he may have overdone it occasionally, but I did learn that there's, you know, when you first jot something down, you end up with a lot of stuff that can fall by the wayside and not do you any harm at all. So it was interesting.
Yeah, cutting that stuff out is hard to do.
Yeah, hit us again.
You got to cut out that stuff, because filler lines, because it rhymes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really move the story on, or doesn't say anything new or interesting. Those are just filler lines. You got to cut them.
You know what? You're hitting now on one of my biggest pet peeves in all kinds of music, all songwriting, is when somebody, and I've heard this so many times, somebody will have a song that really starts blowing me away. It has great line after great line after great line, and you know, strong chorus, and I'm just going, oh man, what a great song. And then at some point, they put in one of those, just exactly like you just said, they put in some throwaway line just because it rhymes.
Yeah.
You know, and there I was in my house, and I'm like, really? After all that, that was the best you could come up with? And it like takes me completely out of the moment. And,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
it can ruin a song.
You got to be tough on your own songs.
Yeah.
All right, let me do a drinking song.
Oh.
Woohoo! Because there's nothing that says drinking like Sunday mornings, friends. And if you don't have a mimosa in your hand, well, go to the store and come back real quick. Put it on pause. Speaking of drinking, this is the brand new shot glass of the Songwriters Serenade. I ordered these. They came out terrific. Paul McCarty did the design, and I'm very excited about them. You can get yourself one for only $5. $5 at the show. If I got to send it to you through the mail, add another, you know, $300 for handling and shipping. So there's some watered down vodka. John, go ahead.
No, that's all right.
Do a
Thank
shot,
you.
really.
All right.
Come on.
All right.
Woohoo! It's a drinking party, friends. Woohoo!
Songwriter Serenade shot glass.
Well, I look outside and it's a perfect day to worship the sun in my special way and answer the simple question, what's life all about? Well, I read recently, get more vitamin vitamin D. Try to relax. So I gather my things, flip-flop my way down where I can lay out. I got my suntan oil, and my new beach towel, sipping a margarita. The water's shimmering, got aviators on, feeling my margarita. Yeah, I'm basking under the sun, busy baking my buzz. My friends beg me for the recipe, so I tell them all what they're gonna need. Sunshine, salt, and lime, mixing tequila rum. Put in the sun, bake at 80 degrees, and let all your cares float away in the breeze. Chill for an afternoon of inner healing. I got my suntan oil, and my new beach towel, sipping a margarita. The water's shimmering, got aviators on, or another margarita. Yeah, I'm basking under the sun, busy baking my buzz. You can't barbecue inebriation, no way to saute intoxication. You can't grill or deep fry, broil or stir fry, or roast a good time, simply because you gotta bake it like I'm baking this buzz. I got my suntan oil, and my new beach towel, sipping a margarita. The water's shimmering, got aviators on, my third margarita. Yeah, I'm basking under the sun, busy baking my buzz. That's right, friends. I'm busy baking my buzz. Give me some more of that tequila.
Very cool song.
I do have one thing to say, and that we had some interrupted low internet connection. Nothing I could do about it, but we're back on now. There's some discussion about it on the thread. So
Oh my
my
God.
apologies.
I was interrupted.
Well, I don't think in the songs it was happening, but I know that John can fix it in the editing for YouTube.
Yes, and thank you for mentioning that. All of our shows for some time now are being archived. This one will be archived on our YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com and in the search window type in Sunday Morning Live with John M. And you will find all of our recent shows, everything we've done for about the past year or so. And so that's very cool. Thank you for watching. Last week's show is up there on YouTube. That was John O'Kennedy, who I believe has played at
Yes.
the Songwriter Serenade
Many
number of
times. He's terrific.
and he's a great sideman, and he had 1,600 views last
Oh my!
week.
Well, I can't
So-
deal with that. We got to go 17. Come on, you people! Call your friends, call your congressmen, get them to watch this show online. We gotta beat the record. Woo!
We do.
Come on now.
So that's great, and we have some great guests coming up in the weeks to come. Next week, I believe this is somebody who's familiar to your show also.
Who would
Next
that be?
week we have Craig Lincoln,
Craig Lincoln. No,
formerly of Craig
show.
and Sabrina.
Oh, yes,
and-
yes, he has.
Great guitar player,
Terrific guitar
and
player.
singer-songwriter, and then at the end of September we have Marty Axelrod,
Oh, great, Marty.
and sometime in
Marty.
between now and then I believe we have Gary Stockdale.
Oh,
That's
yes.
going to be on. So we got some great people coming.
Great
up.
people coming.
So
Lots of talent here,
Stay
folks.
with us. So is there a story behind that song, or did you just feel like writing a drinking song?
I just felt like writing a drinking song. I wanted to point out my website. You can go there. You can learn about me, find links to my songs online. I'm on iTunes. Also, the Songwriter Serenade information is all there. If you want to find out more about the show, there's a map there.
There is a page, Songwriter Serenade.
Yes, there's a page on my website for the Songwriter Serenade. And then I wanted to point out that Jackson put this heart on there and Lila put this heart on there.
And Jackson is?
Jackson is my wonderful little son. He's 5 years old and in kindergarten, and he is just an amazing little boy. And Lila Jane is the sweetest little girl ever. She's just incredible. She's a sweetheart. She's 3, and they are just amazing, full of energy. They could rule the world by themselves, I'm quite sure.
So how much sleep are you getting these days?
A lot more than I was 3 or 4 years ago, let me
Yeah,
tell you that.
yeah.
A lot more than I was. And things are going well. Jackson's in kindergarten.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? He's already in kindergarten. And then Lila Jane starts preschool on Tuesday.
Wow.
It's just, I mean, days seem like months because they're so long.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden years have flown by in seconds. It's weird how that works.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, great family. My lovely wife, Marissa.
Hi, Marissa.
She's terrific.
So I mentioned I'm going to bring this up just because I did mention it. That you it says on your website you still do some voiceover
Yes.
work, voiceover acting as they
Yes.
call it. And
Voiceover.
your parents were both in theater,
Yes.
and your father was in acting a lot, and you have done some acting, some on-camera stuff.
Not
you
much.
told me not lately, but you have done some.
I did commercials mainly,
Uh-huh.
stuff like that. But I didn't get much success in acting during my 20s and early 30s, so I just kind of let it go away. I did get more success in the voiceover world, which I still do today, and I've been doing it for 25 years, and I love it. I love doing voiceover work. I do mainly narration for corporate stuff that's rather boring. But once in a while I get to do the fun stuff. I'm on Ladybug right now, which is a Netflix show. It's called Miraculous Ladybug, and I play Mr. Damocles, who's the principal of the school. And
Very cool.
so that's fun.
Well, congrats on that.
Thank you.
Do you record a lot of this stuff at home, or do you go to a studio somewhere and do
Most of it I do at home. Most of it I do right there at home. The bigger stuff, obviously, the cartoon stuff, I have to go to Burbank, and I'm in a big studio there, and lots of nice equipment, and I just
You have to
be-
match it to the video. And,
yeah, we're dubbing that one. Yeah. It's a French cartoon. We dub into English, so we have to match it up just right, and
Yep.
it's fun. But it's when I'm doing the work of voiceover, I am on vacation because it's not work to me. It's so fun. I just love it.
yeah.
I just love it. The work is getting the work.
Mm-hmm.
Dealing with production companies and getting your name out there and having them remember you to audition or whatever. It's just that's all the work. But
Tell me a little bit about. I'm gonna kind of interject a song here in a second, but we've referred a number of times to the Songwriter Serenade,
Yes.
as if everybody was very familiar with it and knew what it was.
oh yeah.
And most people probably are, but there may be one or two out there who aren't. So for those, for those 3 people who've been hiding under a rock for the past few years, what exactly is it, and how does it work, and
Well, thank you. The Songwriter Serenade is a weekly show I do every Tuesday night. It's at Matt Denny's Ale House in Arcadia on Huntington Drive. If you go to my website, there's a link there. But it's a show where I play and I host and I book and produce and do all the sound and everything, and I invite 4 different guests each week. All songwriters singing mostly their original songs. So it's 75% original music at the show. It's been going on every week for, get this, next month it'll be 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea it'd been that
every week.
long.
It's a terrific show because you've got 4 people coming, delivering their original tunes. The audience loves it. So I have found that 4 songs is enough to deliver yourself as an artist. If you can't do it in 4 songs, then maybe, you can't quite do it. But it's plenty of time to say, this is what I have to offer. If you would like, more songs, buy my album or go to my, website or whatever. But so I'm presenting these artists to the world, and we've had over 425 different artists on the show. So it's kind of crazy to think, that many people have played there. But
Yeah.
so it's a lot of fun. Come out. The food's really good. The beer.
Hi everybody. Sorry about the interruption. We're just trying what we can. As I said, we do have some cloudy weather here today that could be affecting things, and Facebook is known to be glitchy from time to time. But I didn't want to chop JC off too abruptly if we could avoid it. So we should try to do at least one more song that we were kind of planning on doing one together. So welcome back, and my apologies for the interruptions and the technical glitches. Some of these things are beyond our control, but we do the best we can here.
Welcome to part 2, folks. This is part 2
this
of
is
the new mini-series.
I knew that because you are, as you said, where you live is country.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who know me know that I tend to be close to the country rock line, but a little more on the rock side, than you are.
I'd say that.
I was trying to think of more country-ish songs that I could do with you here this morning, and I came up with this one here that was written by the immortal Townes Van Zandt.
Yeah.
And recorded by Willie Nelson and Willie and Merle Haggard.
Merle.
And Emmylou Harris has done it. And it's been one of my favorite songs for a long time, but I hardly ever play it. But I thought we could do it this morning.
Let's give it a try.
So
I'm gonna have to put my glasses on because I don't know it.
So I'm doing the first verse, right? And
Yeah.
You're doing okay. Got it. Living on the road, my friend, was gonna keep you free and clean. Now you wear your skin like iron, your breath's as hard as kerosene. You weren't your mama's only boy, but her favorite one, it seems. She began to cry when you said goodbye, sank into your dreams.
Poncho was a bandit boy. His horse was fast as polished steel. He wore his gun outside his pants for all the honest world to feel. Well, Poncho met his match, on the deserts down in Mexico. Nobody heard his dying words. Well, that's the way it goes. On the federal, you say they could have had him any day. They only let him slip away. Out of kindness, I suppose.
Lefty can't sing the blues all night long like he used to. The dust that Poncho bit down south ended up in Lefty's mouth. The day they laid poor Poncho low, Lefty split for Ohio, where he got the bread to go. Nobody knows. On federally sing, they could have had him any day. They only let him slip away. Out of kindness, I suppose. Poets tell how old Poncho felt. Lefty's living in cheap hotels. The desert's quiet, Cleveland's cold, and so the story goes, we're told. Poncho needs your prayers, it's true, but haven't few for Lefty too. He only did what he had to do, and now he's growing old. All the federally say they could have had him any day. They only let him go so long. Out of kindness, I suppose. A few great federally say they could have had him any day. They only let him go so long. Out of kindness, I suppose. Yeah.
Very nice, John.
Poncho and Lefty, thank you,
Poncho
sir.
and Lefty.
Thank you. Some nice vocals on your part as well.
Thank you.
So I think with that, we are going to wrap it up this morning. Thank you again to all of you for coming, for joining, for watching, for liking, for sharing. My apologies again for the glitches. I hope it was a little smoother this last time through. Be sure to message us on Facebook with your comments, your questions. I will go back, as I always do, and answer all your comments later. And don't forget about the Songwriter Serenade Tuesday night at Matt Denny's Ale House in Arcadia, hosted by JC Hyke. And it's a theme show this week, isn't it?
Yes, 70s tribute, folks. Come out Tuesday night. You're going to hear 16 different artists play a song that was a big hit during the 1970s, and should be a lot of fun. So hope to see you there.
So keep that in mind, and come back and join us here next Sunday for Sunday Morning Live. My guest will be Craig Lincoln. And Hillary, any parting words for anybody?
Yes, thank you, JC, for getting up on a Sunday morning and joining us. It's been so great having you.
Thank you, Hillary. Thanks for recording.
No problem. And